Hi everyone, Gavin here from VideoMyJob, and I'm the Talent Solutions Manager, and I wanted to give a really big thank you to Eden from Rubber Band for having us on today. I'm going to be taking you through a really quick run through of all the latest and greatest innovation that we have packed into the platform over here at VMJ, and a couple of customer examples of how they're using these innovations to full effect to achieve their talent objectives. So, wasting no time at all, a quick introduction. You may be familiar with VideoMyJob from a few years ago, or even back in 2016 when we founded, as the simple to use 3-button app that's predominantly focused on job ads. Well, I'm pleased to report that we have absolutely innovated well and truly beyond this in the current day and age. And the best way to understand how we're helping our customers now is as an employee story video enterprise platform. And what that means is with an enterprise focus, we're really targeting employee stories at scale. We're talking 50, 60, 100 participants responding to campaigns at any one time. And in the current day and age, with mobile devices all featuring HD or 4K cameras, it's actually not that difficult to capture video. But when you're talking about it from the enterprise perspective and at scale, there's a lot of complexities that get introduced to the process. Things like making sure that your employees are on brand and on message, making sure that your branding, your logo, and your color schemes are all handled correctly, and all the while ensuring that you're staying within the bounds of the IT processes and security whilst you collect those videos. So, wasting no time at all, I'll jump right into the platform. And the first feature set that we'll be discussing today is in relation to security and controls. So, we're hosted on AWS infrastructure in a number of different geographies, meeting all of the local requirements around privacy or data security. All those good things like ISO and SOC 2 best practices are all abided by. And we give you complete control as to who has what level of access. So you can really lock down that only the core users are the ones that are going to be inside the platform. Now, that's things like your talent team, recruitment marketers, employer branders, people with the right level of training and approval to be producing this sort of content. Everybody else in the platform, they're going to interact with it from the perspective of filming. And we really limit their experience with VideoMyJob to collecting those stories from them, and then that's where their experience stops. So you don't need to worry about anyone creating like little side projects or publishing something accidentally that wasn't ready to go out. And then the next piece is we often refer to ourselves as marketing's best friend because brand is something that's really, really crucial to get right. And in that vein, when you come into VideoMyJob and you sign up as a customer, we're going to work with your brand or marketing team to get all of that absolutely spot on. So your logo, your unique color code, even down to something as small as your font. We want that all to be loaded into the platform and then locked as a template so that you can be sure and your marketing team can be sure every time you make a video, it's absolutely spot on, which gives them a great deal of confidence to let you get creating and really be responsive to the business's changing needs. So moving right along, the next element of making video easy at scale is obviously around how you're going to go and collect that video content. So that's where our campaigns feature comes into it. We run everything via a campaign, so you can say goodbye to multicolored flags in your email inbox or crazy Excel spreadsheets of trying to keep track of where everything's at. This is all catered for you inside the platform. Broadly speaking, there's two different pathways you might go down: a scripted video or recording more of a Q&A style of video. So if you think about the script, maybe a job ad might fit there, or maybe you've just launched a new EVP and you have like a key message that you want to take to market. You could invite 10, 20, 30 different employees to all read from the same script, and then you could actually chop up all of that content to have each of them recording a little snippet. So you're showcasing your diversity and getting that message across in one hit, which is really, really compelling. But we're going to focus on a question. So you might have something like, which company value do you resonate with the most? Or how would you describe the culture at your company? So you can then take that question, make any amendments that you might like to do, and then you move on to inviting participants. And there's a number of different ways that you can invite people. If they've already responded to something recently, they can pop up here in a list, or you can just go ahead and invite them, maybe even a bulk upload if you've got lots and lots of people. And then we can give our campaign a unique name. So I'm just going to call this one the rubber band example, but you want it to be easily identifiable later on when you're going back in to go and find how your campaign is tracking, who's responded, who do you need to sort of follow up with. And then you can set a deadline. So, most importantly, you want to provide like, when is this due? So I can go in there and then mark that. And then I can give some instructions. So these could be brand guidelines that you might have, or just some tips and tricks about how to get the best quality recording, like looking for an interesting background or minimizing noise in the environment. And then you simply hit launch and VideoMyJob takes care of the rest. So we send out all of the invitations, reminders, status updates, like it's all available at the click of a button. And then as your videos start to come back in, you'll be able to see those underneath your campaign. So I'll just bring open an example that I have here where I've had a couple of my colleagues actually respond with clips where I would then be able to jump in and play that back, just assess whether or not I'm happy with that clip before moving on to editing. So before we jump into editing, there's one other great innovation that we've added, which really helps with getting your campaigns completed, having people respond to videos. So one of the biggest challenges that people often outlaid was that they wanted to participate, but they didn't know what to say. So AI is obviously the flavor of the month, and we have taken a slightly different approach where we were really considered with how we wanted to incorporate AI into the platform and really solve a key challenge for our users. And we saw that scripting could be something that AI could lend itself to quite nicely. So we've developed an AI scriptwriter to help your employees actually get a starting point for what they might like to say. So we still want to maintain that authenticity, and it's important to note that we're not advocating for just reading any old AI generated script verbatim. But yeah, unanimously, everybody found that it was far easier for them to have a look at a suggestion and then make edits and tweaks to that than it was for them to start from scratch. Now, while we were at it, we found an awesome opportunity to really enable employer brand professionals or recruitment marketers and extend their influence inside an organization. So there's a lot of painstaking detail that goes into formulating an employer brand, but then activating it and really making sure that it sort of felt inside the organization all too often just came down to the individual responsibility of the person driving it. What we were able to do is in the back end behind the scenes of our AI scriptwriter, give you the ability to feed in the unique elements about your organization. So things like your vision, mission, purpose, your EVP pillars, and your employer brand strategy. You can all punch that in, even down to really granular things like common themes that are used inside the organization or high value words and areas or topics that you actively want to steer away from. Another great inclusion, obviously VideoMyJob, we're commonly referred to as VMJ. We can give ourselves that nickname inside the platform, or even go so far as giving our employee group a nickname. So we found out that the employees over at Amazon are actually referred to as Amazonians, and subsequently to having a couple of chats to the talent team over there, we actually found out that that does great things for employee engagement as well as having that sort of collective name. So really interesting and a really great opportunity to make sure that the suggestions coming through from our scriptwriter are as close to, in your employee tone of voice as you're obviously trying to advocate for. So that takes us perfectly into what do we then do once we have all these recordings coming back in. And that's where we have a number of different options for you in how you might choose to go through and brand or edit your videos. So first and foremost, we have something called a quick brand, or our web editing suite. So in here, we have all of the different templates that we have actually created in the lead up to you coming on board inside the platform. You can apply those and then go ahead and really quickly, easily trim up your video. So, there's no painstaking editing that needs to take place here. You can get something out to market really, really quickly for that urgent video that you need because somebody in the business has had a great idea or there's been a new priority that's come to the forefront. And then you get the chance to brand up your title, really quickly, simply, and easily. Now, if I jump back a step, we also give you another option there, which is around our integration with Canva. So everybody loves using Canva. I know I'm certainly an addict. And what better way to take your videos to the next level than to give you all of the freedom and creativity that Canva gives you access to. So that's your go-to if you want to create like really high production value videos, add in like animation and transitions and background music and the like. But a nifty feature is that we also give you the ability, if you're experimenting with other social platforms like Insta or TikTok, for example, you can jump in and adjust on the fly the proportions of your video. So you can adjust that to square or portrait, for example, and take that video and sort of do whatever you would like with it. Now, that leads me into our newest addition in editing, which is super exciting. And we have a great way to be able to showcase that to you all, which is our AI auto edit. So, be gone are the days of having to sit there and actually even trim up or brand a video. Our AI tool is in the final stages of testing now. And we've actually done a fantastic pilot with Deloitte for their graduate program. So that will showcase our story feed functionality, which is a great two birds, one stone kind of segue. So Deloitte, they are advertising their recruitment campaign for graduates on Grad Connection, as I'm sure many people listening to this also do. And they wanted a better way to, really communicate the unique offering that their graduate program was to those out there considering them. Now, we saw this as a great opportunity to get together and work on testing this new AI feature, as I mentioned. And in less than, I think it was 4 or 5 days, Poncho mentioned, we were able to create in excess of 100 videos, all branded, trimmed up, ready to go, and get their story feed live on the Grad Connection page. So, hopefully you're seeing this. If not, we can try and make sure we get a link for you to be able to go and check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, over here, what we've been able to do. So for anybody that doesn't know, our story feed is VideoMyJob tech that can sit on any web page that you have access to. And it's a video library. We're also working on the ability for you to be able to host this as like an unlisted video library that you could then choose to proactively send out to people. But here in front of me, I have a whole host of different faces of the graduates of Deloitte. So I can scroll through and just kind of have a look at anybody that might, really strike out and appeal to me, really interesting to go and sort of have a little listen as to their perspective of what life at Deloitte is like as a graduate.
Hi, I'm Jessica Irish. I'm a graduate at Deloitte, and I just wanted to share some advice when applying for the grad program here. And it's really cliched, but
So there I get to hear from Jessica about her experience, and underneath there, we've incorporated a call to action, which in this instance is apply now, but could also be linking back to your culture or values or any other web page that you wanted to drive traffic. And then if I click out of there, I get the option to go and have a look at any other of these many, many graduate videos that Deloitte has curated. And on the left hand side, this is customizable per customer, per story feed. You can create these different sorts of pathways that people can go down for their specific interests. So we've got topics and locations as the two different filterable kind of options here. So, we all know that there's a lot of rivalry between the likes of Sydney and Melbourne. The culture is very different. And likewise between, Brisbane and Sydney or Brisbane and Melbourne. And individuals always want to know about what it's like to work in that team specifically, or that office location specifically. So they can go ahead, click that, and then dynamically that wall of content will update in line with their interests. Likewise for topics, if I wanted to know a little bit more about work-life balance, because that was very important to me, I could find out about that. Or if I was most interested in mentoring and how that's going to build and progress my career, then I could sort by that. Now, I'm going to switch gears for a second and show you another example, and that's the team over at Haleon. Now, they're a great brand to showcase here because they're a household name that many people don't have a great deal of familiarity with. They have consumer brands such as Panadol, Voltaren, Centrum Vitamins, but for whatever reason, a lot of people don't make that connection then with the corporate brand of Haleon. So what they've been able to achieve with their story feed is cleverly positioning some of their consumer brands, their consumer items in the forefront or the background of screen, which really helps create that instant recognition and that connection that you do know and trust this brand. The other thing that I really like to highlight about Haleon and how they've gone about building out their story feed is what it does for speaking to their commitment for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a massively important topic. We all know it. We've convinced the executive teams that they need to be, really focusing on this specifically and broadcasting, that your organization is obviously committed to this as well. But the challenge there is that that's kind of elevated the bar. And now simply having like a hero message on your careers site doesn't really cut it. Like candidates have that level of expectation now, but it doesn't shine through even when you're doing really meaningful good work in this space. And I think a well populated story feed uniquely positions this in front of the audience. Like as I scroll through here, I can see just such a diverse mix of individuals sharing their perspectives about what life at Haleon is like. And that doesn't matter through what lens I'm considering the world, whether that is age or gender or ethnicity. Chances are I'm going to find an individual in their story feed that I resonate with and makes me feel comfortable that I would be not only accepted but celebrated if I were to join the team over at Haleon. Now, the final piece of the puzzle that I want to call out for how Haleon have been able to really activate these employee stories is over on LinkedIn. You can see if you go and have a look at the Haleon corporate page, or maybe you follow Emma Lang, who heads up the EB team over there. They've just got so much incredible engagement on their videos. Here we've got a little blooper reel, for example, of outtakes that again is pushing people over to the careers page, but they've got 192 sort of interactions on there. So that's like likes, they've got 7 comments, but the thing that blows me away is they've got 29 reposts, and that's all coming from internal Haleon employees. So, we've all had that experience where we've asked people to kind of get behind a topic or help us spruik something out there on LinkedIn, and it can be really difficult when that's kind of a dry corporate material. Like this is their personal network that we're speaking to. But when it's their colleague in the same team, or maybe somebody from an adjacent team that they interact with pretty regularly, they're much more likely to get behind that. They know this individual, they're happy to shout that out. And what that's doing is actually getting your content into those hidden talent pockets that you really want to be targeting, because that's where your A grade talent sits. They're not necessarily going to be connected to your corporate page. If we think ourselves about how many corporate brands we're connected with, it's probably not as many as our connections to individuals, people that we've worked with previously, or maybe met at a networking event or an industry event. And we thought, hey, you know what, let's connect with each other on LinkedIn and stay in touch. These are the superstars. These are the ones that you want to be speaking to directly. And by tapping into those employees' networks, you're getting your content in front of those really, really impactful eyeballs where they want to see it, and then pushing them over to your careers site or any other location away from the kind of noise of a place like LinkedIn. Alrighty, so that has been the latest and greatest from us over here at VideoMyJob, as well as a couple of quick examples of how our customers are using this to full effect. So I hope this has been really beneficial for you. And if you're interested in creating some absolutely amazing employee story videos, or you're just interested in maybe exploring one of the features that we touched on today in a little bit more depth, I'd invite you to reach out to me and connect on either LinkedIn, or feel free to shoot me through an email. Always up for a chat about how we can help you to better achieve your talent objectives.